Camel's matchless blend of finer, more expensive tobaccos, Turkish and domestic, does make a difference. Camels are the largest selling cigarette in America or in the world. The Chamber Music Department swings into line to demonstrate that time cannot wither nor custom stale the charm of a really good tune. The professor, Dr. Wilson, and Dr. Krupa with clarinet, piano, and drums, and that ancient but very vigorous ditty, After You've Gone.
Why, Doctor, weren't you quoting Shakespeare?
Well, yes, Professor.
Well, couldn't you work in something about my kingdom for a camel?
Let's get on with the program, Professor.
Hey there, I'm Mike Gillett, your host, and this is 1937, Part 3 of the Soundscape series, Episode 34 of When Radio Ruled. This podcast is a montage of excerpts from old-time radio shows performed live and broadcast January 17 to January 31, 1937. Starring Don Wilson, Jack Benny, Andy Devine, Mary Livinston, Buck Jones, the cast of The March of Time, Cecile B. DeMille, Rudy Vallee, Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy, the Charioteers, Phil Harris, Eddie Cantor, Basil O'Connor, Jimmy Wallington, Charlie Butterfield, Irving Berlin, and more. These soundscapes are a result of the research phase of the When Radio Ruled historical documentary series. In order to find the best old-time radio excerpts, to explain the essence of the era, I listened to hundreds of hours of old-time radio broadcasts, looking for the most interesting bits. For the two documentaries about 1937, I listened to almost 150 hours of recorded past. When I hear something outstanding, a song or a joke or a comedy sketch, a news report or an interview, I add it to a best of clip reel, so I can easily find all the best excerpts for the documentary. But not everything can get into the final version. For 1937, I boiled 6.3 days of programming down to 27 hours of excerpts, from which a little under 5 hours made the final cut. And it seems like such a waste. Listening to these clip reels is one of my favorite parts of the process. I don't remember what I put on each reel, so they contain one unexpected gem after another. And I want to share that experience with you. These excerpts are offered without commentary for your entertainment and education. So here are voices from 1937. Voices sadly now silenced. Great performers living again because you're listening to them perform live now.
Three days have elapsed, and now we find Buck and Andy in Mexico approaching the quaint little town of Ensenada.
I said Texas before, Andy. I meant Mexico. Might as well clear that up with our listening audience. Sure has been a long trip, Andy.
Yeah, mighty lucky we had that radio, Buck.
Sure is. Tune her in again.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Allen! Mr. Allen!
Turn that off, Andy.
Say, Buck.
Yes?
I'm worried. How are we going to get along down here in Mexico?
Don't worry, Andy. I can speak the language like a native. Say, see those lights up ahead? That might be the Playa Ensenada Hotel.
It might at that.
Here comes a little Mexican girl down the road. I'll ask her. Oh. Oya, buenos dias, señorita. ¿Dónde está el Hotel Playa Ensenada? ¿Está muy?
It's that large white building right ahead of you. The one with the red tile roof. You can't miss it.
Gracias, señorita. Gracias.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. You see, Andy, lucky I'm here with you.
You sure understood her, Buck.
Well, let's get going. We don't want to keep Buck Jones waiting.
Okay, giddy up.
Come on, partner.
Yeah.
Whoa, partner.
Whoa.
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 We nearly had a photographic finish. Beautiful place, Andy. Let's go inside and talk to the clerk.
Well, you'll have to do the talking, Buck.
Okay. Oye, ¿cómo está, señor? Dígame, por favor, si está hospedado aquí el señor Buck Jones?
Oh, yes, he's in room 201. I'll send for him immediately.
Gracias, señorita. Or senor. Gracias.
You sure get along swell down here, Buck.
Yep, I never have any trouble talking to a native. I only wish I could find one. Well, here comes Buck Jones now.
Sure enough.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Buck. Glad to see you.
Sure glad to see you, too, Buck.
You know Sheriff Andy Devine.
Why, sure. We made a picture together quite a while ago. Remember that, Andy? Yep, and we had a lot of fun making it, didn't we?
You know, Buck, I made a couple of pictures myself lately for Paramount. The big broadcast and college holiday. Did you see them?
I don't know. Were they Western?
No, I stepped out of character for those. Tell me, Buck, when you called me on the phone, were you positive you saw Cactus Face Elmer, the outlaw?
No, I wasn't.
What did you call me for?
Oh, I just wanted to get on your program.
Well, I need a fella like you to help me catch that varmint. Let's go into the bar and have a drink. Find out where the bar is, Andy.
I can't speak the language here.
Oh, that's right. I'll find out. Oye, portero, ¿dónde está el café?
Right down the hall. First door to your right.
I said the bar room.
Oh, second door to your right.
Come on, boys. Let's go in. Well, you having a good time down here in Ensenada, Buck?
Sure am, Buck. How about you?
Well, I had a rough trip, Buck. And I'm
Oh,
all
fuck
in.
up, Buck.
Oh, Buck.
My name is Andy. See if you can squeeze that in.
Well, here we are, fellas. Have a drink on me.
Well, boys, what'll it be?
I'll have a gin Buck. What'll you have, Buck?
I'll have a Buck Carty.
How about you, Sheriff?
I'll have a Tom and Andy.
That's Tom and Jerry.
Well, let Jerry look out for himself.
Say, fellas, come here a minute. That bartender looks kind of familiar to me.
He does?
Might be disguised. Wait a minute, I've got a hunch. Andy, you keep him covered while I talk to him.
Okay, Sheriff.
And Jones, you circle around the other side and keep him covered from there.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm a real cowboy.
Oh, well, come on and play. I got a sneaking idea that it's Cactus Face, the fellow who stole Carson's cow. Hey, bartender.
Yes, gentlemen.
What did you do before you tended bars?
I was in the milk business.
In the milk business, eh?
Yes, sir. From cow to cowtail.
Now, listen, fellas. If this guy can't speak Spanish, we got our man. Hey, bartender. ¿Qué conoce usted de este lugar del país?
Yo solo de business insurance.
Ajá. ¿Cuánto tiempo tiene trabajando aquí?
Is that so? A Schwarz years old year,
I'm afraid we're on the wrong trail, boys. I'll try it once more. ¿Está segura que me dice la verdad de usted?
3 minutes in cup and verga harget. Poopsie.
Whoopsie! It's Cactus Face. Grab him, boys! The lights are out. Watch that door. I got him, fellas. I got him. Wait a minute. Who's stepping on my hand?
Get off of me, Sheriff. You're on my back.
Can't help it, Andy. Buck Jones is on mine.
Then who's on me?
William F. Hart.
This floor show will not be continued next Sunday night. Will Buck get off, Buck? Will Andy get off the floor? Will our sponsor tell us where to get off? Tune in next Sunday night and find out. Play, boys.
The March of Time. Exactly 1 year ago today, Life, the magazine of pictures, published its first issue.
When Life began, it set out to report in pictures not only the news of the week, but the life of the world. Not only the faces of the great and the momentous dramatic happenings of the day, but the humble as well. The human significance of simple, everyday things. The fright of a lost child. The smile of a Negro. The glamour of the theater, the gaiety of a party. As Life celebrates its first birthday, Benny Goodman dedicates to Life a new sing and swing tune. Life goes to a party.
Again tonight, the editors of Life join the editors of Time, the weekly news magazine, in presenting by radio the reenactment of memorable scenes from the news of the week.
From the March of Time. Time marches on. Odawara, Japan. Fortnight ago, a fragile, white-haired old man lies propped up in bed, his thin hands lying on the coverlet as a doctor enters the bedroom.
Admiral Baron Sotokichi, how is my most distinguished patient today?
I am a very unhappy patient, Doctor.
So?
Oh, no. My pain is not for you to hear. My secretary has been reading news to me. Shingi, read the last again.
Japanese are being condemned in the American press, hissed in American theaters, and denounced from street corners and platforms. American sympathies with China are leading to widespread anti-Japanese boycotts.
Every day, Doctor, it is the same. American hatred saddens me.
It is unfortunate, yes, but, Baron, for your own health, you must not disturb yourself over such things.
You do not understand, Doctor. Americans are my friends. I was educated there. I still have classmates.
I know, Baron. But you must rest.
The United States Naval Academy. My class of 1881. Why, they came all the way to be my guests here, in this very house. A reunion 15 years ago. Let me see. There are still 25 of us living. Old. Like me, Doctor. Help me up, Shingi.
No.
Yes, I shall write my American friends.
I must warn you, Baron, this may mean...
My life? No matter. What little of it is left is my own.
This week, as it must to all men, death came to Admiral Baron Sotokichi Uryo, 80. Last surviving Japanese graduate of the United States Naval Academy, class of 1881. Descendant of a long samurai line. Of a heart attack, after writing a letter in defiance of his doctoral orders to his Annapolis classmates, defending Japan's course of empire in China. And this week has estimated the cost to Japan of her 3 months Chinese campaign. Already more than the entire Russo-Japanese War of 33 years ago. A war which made Japan a first-class power. A war which made Sotokichi Uryo an admiral, a national hero, and the most distinguished of all his fellows in the class of 1881.
My old friends, you who knew me and remember me from 60 years ago, you must know that I could not ask you to withhold your judgment of my country unless I myself believed her cause was just. You must believe the mission of Japan is peace.
Time marches on. This week, 85 million report cards go out through the United States in an effort to obtain accurate data which will provide jobs for the U.S. unemployed. But the ray of hope the report cards hold reaches 275 Briggs Avenue, Brooklyn, too late for the family of 13-year-old William Troller, who this week hanged himself to the transom of a dining room door. Time marches on. Political and economic fronts, up and down the land since August 1937.
General Motors 38, off 17 points to year's low. U.S. Steel 53, off 68. Bonds continuing to break. Security.
Steel production at 48% of capacity, a 44% drop since May. Lumber output off 24% since 1936. Freight car loading.
Lawrence, Massachusetts. Pacific Print Works, largest textile mill of its kind in the U.S. Shuts down. 30,000 out of work. Others preparing to follow suit.
Steel production down 42%. Employment in automobile industry down 5%. Little Steel lays off 185,000 workers in a single 10-day period.
Such is the business recession of 1937. And this week in the United States Congress, assembled in special session, the clerk reads a message from the President of the United States. Its preamble:
important measures are already pending, but other matters will require early consideration. For since your adjournment in August, there has been a marked recession in industrial production and industrial purchases.
On big businessmen, once belabored by Franklin Roosevelt as economic royalists, says the Roosevelt recession message of this week.
During the adjournment of the Congress, I have sought to avail myself of the wisdom and advice of managers of large industrial and financial enterprise.
On the unemployed, once called by Franklin Roosevelt the forgotten men whom government must help, says the Roosevelt recession message of this week.
The continuance of recovery and the elimination of unemployment in the United States depends far more on business policies than it does upon anything that may be done or not done by the government in Washington.
On New Deal capital and business taxes, once defended by Franklin Roosevelt as a means to redistribution of the wealth, says the Roosevelt recession message of this week.
Tax modifications adequate to encourage productive enterprise should be given special consideration. Our immediate task is to try to increase the use of private capital to create employment and higher levels of industrial activity.
This week, digesting the President's message, Congress goes into feverish activity. The Senate filibusters for 2 days on the pre-recession social reform. To the floor for quick action goes a bill to repeal the most famed of New Deal taxes on business, the corporate surplus tax. But at week's end, still the biggest news story in Washington is a reversal of principles by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, outlining a new New Deal program in the face of the recession of 1937, whose nearest analogy is the 1932 Depression program of Herbert Clark Hoover. Time marches on. Bath, England. On the 7-acre estate of Fairfield, in a 14-room Georgian house one day this week, 2 British reporters pay a visit to a dark-skinned, cadaverous-faced little man with bushy black beard, who still styles himself Emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie I.
Pray be seated, gentlemen.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
The room is chilly, I know, but I am sorry.
You know our English autumns by now, Your Majesty. One needs a fire in November.
Alas, we can no longer afford fires in any room but the nursery. But really, gentlemen, we like it here. When I sell the house, we shall be sorry to leave. It is a little crowded, but less so than before, without my cousin's family.
Then, Ross Cussa is no longer with you?
Oh, quite near. You see, since I am going to sell my automobile, we were able to convert the garage for his family to live in. And then my son, Makonnen, and my daughter, Shahai, they are both away.
Yes, I understand the Duke of Harrar is enrolled at King's College, Staunton.
Yes, he was fortunate to obtain a scholarship. My daughter is in a nurse's training school in London and will, we hope, find a place in the world. We are adapting ourselves, you see.
The Ethiopian Association is collecting a fund, I believe.
I am afraid not, gentlemen. My appeal to the world for my distressed country has failed to bring even enough for my personal needs.
Nothing from your lawsuits?
No, but as you may have heard, Mussolini offered me a rather tempting sum to abandon my claims before the League of Nations, but I did not accept. I could not accept, gentlemen.
When you sell this estate, Your Majesty, where will you go?
I do not know, gentlemen.
Time marches on. This week, as As the world learns of the final humiliation of the exiled monarch who once looked to Britain to save his nation from Italian invasion, Britons are honoring their countrymen who died in a crusade of 20 years ago when Britain hoped to save the world. In London's Whitehall, through crowds massed solemnly around the cenotaph to Britain's war dead, King George VI, in the olive-drab uniform of a field marshal, is escorted by a guard of honor. Then, alone, bearing a wreath, he mounts the steps of the memorial, places the wreath, and descends to stand beside the robed and mitred Archbishop of Canterbury. Big Ben sounds the hour of 11.
In the name of the living, who today honor you, the dead, in eternal gratefulness, I, their king, salute the peace which, so dearly won, we hold sacred to your memory.
Lord, thou hast been our refuge from one generation to another. Before the mountains were brought forth, wherever the earth and the world were made, thou art God from everlasting, world without end. Thou turnest man to destruction. Again thou sayest, come again, ye children of men.
With all the empire, we who are gathered here will now observe 2 minutes of silence in reverence of the dead.
Stop! Stop! Stop it! The dead are all right. You cannot do anything for them. But what about the living, millions of us, who don't have enough to eat?
Grab him, quick, get his arms, might have again.
No, let me go. Why don't you stop all this hypocrisy? You know you're deliberately preparing another war. Stop it!
In Britain this week, arrested for creating a disturbance during a memorial service to the dead, returned to Cane Hill Lunatic Asylum, whence he escaped 6 weeks ago, is one John Story. But this week in Britain's House of Commons...
Mr. Speaker, Majesty's Secretary of State for Home Affairs, Sir Samuel Hoare. Gentlemen, I ask your leave to introduce a new bill. It is a bill to protect our citizens from air raids in time of war. I am quite ready to answer any and all questions from the floor. But first, let me point out that during the World War, 300 tons of bombs were dropped on the British Isles in the space of 4 years. That many bombs can be dropped now in 24 hours.
May I respectfully ask the Home Secretary, what is being done to protect buildings in congested areas, such as London?
There is virtually no protection against a direct hit. But to protect our citizens against the blast and splinters of explosives, individual families would be equipped with arrangements for a refuge room in their own homes. An inside room reinforced with some cement bags is about the cheapest method.
What about protection against incendiary bombs?
A medium-sized plane can start no less than 150 fires in a single raid. There is, of course, no fire protection of such scope. However, we hope to furnish families with a hand pump, a shovel, and a box of sand.
Does the Home Secretary assume that Britain will shortly be at war?
I have not said so. But, gentlemen, let us face the facts. London is now less than an hour by air from the continent. If Britain goes to war, we cannot hope to escape for long the type of warfare which has been carried to the citizens of Madrid and of Shanghai. If Britain goes to war, there may be much, perhaps everything, to rebuild.
Time marches on.
And grateful, too, is life's acknowledgement to U.S. amateur photographers who, in ever-increasing numbers, have been sending the editors their best pictures. The best pictures of the Hindenburg disaster, the best pictures of an East Texas oil well fire, were taken by amateurs. But so were hundreds of others that were published in Life, of humble faces, of babies, of dogs, of science, of fun, of family. Pictures that reveal the whole fabric of today's living. That's the kind of pictures Life wants. It has published over 2,000 amateur photographs in its first year, and Life wants more of them. So we invite you to send us your most interesting photographs. Let us look at them. If not used, they'll be promptly returned. And for every amateur picture it prints, Life will pay at least $5. Send your pictures to Life, Chrysler Building, New York.
Life's first anniversary issue is on sale at newsstands tomorrow. If you do not see it, may we suggest you ask your news dealer for it. If you have reserved your copy, your news dealer will have it for you tomorrow, Friday morning.
One must really visit Europe to appreciate Hollywood. All the culture found abroad flourishes right here in the shadow of the picture studios.
Yes, Hollywood attracts the finest musicians, the most talented painters, and the greatest writers.
Yes. In the Luxembourg galleries in France hang paintings by the Columbia director, Harry Lockman. Nor do the wives of stars and executives spend their time trying to justify their existence by balancing a teacup on one hand and a square-cut emerald on the other. Mrs. Jessie Lasky is an excellent painter. Mrs. Ernest Boyder, wife of the writer, is a director in the Pasadena Community Theater. Mrs. DeMille, wife of our host, is director of the Children's Hospital, the American Red Cross, and president of the Castelar Creche, a baby's home. And if you're not overcome with culture by this time, I might add that Mrs. Edward G. Robinson spends her time reading scripts, landscaping the garden, collecting rare china, and doing equally important chores such as raising her 2 children.
And the rest of your time is your own, huh?
Yes, only there isn't any.
Did you add to your collection while abroad, Miss Robinson?
Well, Eddie did most of the collecting, Mr. DeMille. In Paris, he collected snails and frogs' legs. In Copenhagen, beer, and in London, pipes. I thought I knew Eddie pretty well by this time, but when we attended the showing of his picture, Bullets and Ballads, in Copenhagen, he floored me completely by getting up and making a speech in Danish. Maybe it was the beer. I know that it was a short speech and the people seemed to like it, so I'm going to follow his example right now and say thank you all and good night.
Good night, Mrs. Robinson.
And here's tonight's timetable.
At 4 minutes and 20 seconds after the hour begins,
Charlie McCarthy, the genial and popular dummy with his partner, Edgar Bergen, ventriloquist.
At 19 minutes and 55 seconds after the hour,
Roland Young, international picture and stage personality with Francis Fuller, featured in Stage Door on Broadway. Mr. Young and Miss Fuller will be heard in The Noble Lord, an amusing one-act comedy by Percival Wilder.
At 29 minutes and 35 seconds after the hour,
the Charioteers, who, in our opinion, share top honors among radio quartets with the Mills Brothers.
At 39 minutes and 5 seconds after the hour,
Sidney Franklin, American bullfighter. In the opinion of experts, one of the greatest living masters of the art of daring death in the afternoon.
At 48 minutes and 55 seconds after the hour,
Walter C. Kelly, the Virginia judge. Vaudeville veteran, one of America's great entertainers produced by the Variety Theater in these United States. And at various assorted minutes throughout, words and music by the Connecticut Yankees, the Swing Kids, and your humble, obedient servant who is minus an impacted wisdom tooth and who hopes it may never happen to you.
Hello, everybody. This is Charlie McCarthy talking. I'm going to talk tonight on fourth dimension. I may even get into fifth dimension. Up to my neck into it. All right.
Now, just a moment, young man. Before you go ahead with this talk, I want you to know that you had a very interesting letter from Washington, D.C.
Is that so?
Yes, a fan letter.
Oh, boo-boo-boo.
Yes.
What do they want to know?
Well, they'd like to know something about your love life.
Well, there isn't much to say.
Oh, there isn't?
No, not really.
Oh, I see. Then you haven't had a love life.
Well, I wouldn't say that either, no. I get around a little.
Oh, I see.
But I don't feel that it should be public.
Oh, I see.
Was she interested?
Yes, this was a very charming girl.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Well, now that's different.
Yes.
Maybe I should read my fan letters a little closer.
I think you ought to.
Yes. What did she say?
Well, she wants to know all about you. Yes.
Well, is it, it's not tittle-tattle?
Oh, no.
It's got to be the real thing, you know.
Oh, yes.
It's got to be heavy love.
Yes. steady going and like that. Oh, yes. But aren't you a little bit young to have a sweetheart?
Well, of course, I'm not getting any younger.
Oh, I see.
So, I was going steady when I was 7 years old.
Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Well,
She was only 8, though.
I see.
She wasn't very sophisticated.
I don't suppose so.
I don't think it was real love.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No. What about school?
Oh, I had lots of sweethearts here. In zoology class, I met Catherine and Gertrude and Eleanor.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I went steady with all of them, too.
Fine. You met them all in zoology class?
Mm-hmm. I was pretty good in zoology.
I should say. Yes.
Catherine sat in front of me, and Eleanor sat in back of me. Oh, what fun, what fun.
Yes.
What laughs.
Yes. But at the end of the year, did you know anything about zoology?
Well, not as much as I knew about Catherine and Gertrude.
No.
No. All I can remember is once I had to dissect a frog.
Dissect a frog?
Yes.
Did you find out what made it croak?
I think it was the chloroform I gave it. Yes. I was supposed to study the nervous system.
Yes.
But I didn't make anything out of it. No. Didn't mean a thing to me.
I did. Didn't help you?
No. I don't think it helped the frog any either. I could put it back together again.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well, now tell me about this Catherine.
Oh, yes. Oh, I gave her my pin.
Oh, your pin?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yes.
What fraternity?
Boy Scout pin.
Oh, Boy Scout. Yes. Well, then it was serious.
Oh, it was, sure.
Yes. You were as good as married.
No, I was better than married.
Oh, you were?
Yes. Well, I couldn't have been worse than married.
No.
Oh, but that's all over now.
Well, what was the matter? What brought this love boat on the rocks?
Well, I guess I was too good to her.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I took her to the park, you see, and the zoo, and bought her candy and gum and Cracker Jack.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. Two boxes. Yes. None of this divvy up stuff.
Oh, I see.
And she got the best prize.
The best prize?
Yes, darn it.
I see.
So then going home one night, I said, let's hold hands, see?
Hold hands?
Mm-hmm. What do you think she said?
What did she say?
She said no.
No? Boy, did I burn up. I'm mad.
After all the money I'd spent, too.
Yes. Well, don't you think it was a little out of order, insisting on holding hands?
Well, maybe it was. But I'm a wild sort of fella, you know.
Yes.
Yoo-hoo!
All right.
It's the gypsy in me.
Yes.
Ah-boo-boo-boo.
All right.
But what about you, Mr. Bergen? You must have had some romances, too.
Well, of course, I have also loved and lost.
Uh-huh.
2 years ago, I spent a good deal of time in China and Japan.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Very interesting color, very interesting country, and so colorful.
Yes. And it's so oriental, too.
Yes. I shall never forget a sight there of seeing these thousands of Chinese coolies, working in the fields from sun up until sundown.
Yes.
Slaving away.
Yes.
So that they could give us our rice and our tea.
Yes.
It didn't seem fair.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
When you think that all we give them in return is our dirty laundry.
Yes.
No. But what about your romance, Professor?
Oh, yes. Well, when I was in Pango.
You mean Pingo Pongo?
No, Pango.
Oh, Pango. Oh, Pingo. Oh, join hands and circle to the left.
All right.
Oh, Suzanne.
All right.
I'm swinging out.
Yes, all right.
Yoo-hoo!
That will do, yes. Well, now, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Yes.
When you were in China, did you see the dawn come up like thunder out of China across the bay?
Well, you read your poetry.
Oh, yes, I'm a little learned.
I can see that. Do you like to read poetry?
Well, it's better than being sent to the principal's office for not reading it.
I imagine so. Yes. Well, who's your favorite poet?
Oh, Longfellow, I guess.
Yes.
Who do you like?
Well, I always enjoyed Burns.
Burns?
Yes.
What did he write?
Well, he wrote to a field mouse.
He did what?
I say he wrote to a field mouse.
Did he?
Yes.
Did the mouse answer?
All right.
Well, I didn't know.
It's the name of a poem.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Never heard of it.
I see. Well, I think it was one of the best things that he wrote.
Is that so?
Yes. Maybe it was his masterpiece. All right. Didn't care for it. No. Listen. Now, I want to tell you this, young man.
Yes.
There's no use trying to explain this poem to you. No. You won't appreciate it unless you've been out of the city. Unless you've lived close to nature.
Well, what do you mean out of the city? Don't I go up to my grandmother's house every summer?
Oh, you do?
Up in Michigan?
Oh, that's right.
On the good old farm?
Yes. Yes.
I've saw lots of mouses.
Whoa.
Huh?
What was that?
I said I've saw lots of mouses, I said.
You have?
Yes.
Where's your grammar?
She's still up in Michigan.
No. What I mean is...
Well, I don't understand.
What I wanted to say was this.
What's this?
Did you forget your lines? All right.
Would you like Rudy to play a chorus or two?
No, that's all right. You're supposed to say...
I'm not interested.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, that's all right.
Yes. It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Really.
It's embarrassing for me, too.
Yes.
After all, I'm supposed to be the dummy.
Yes, I...
WEAF, New York.
It is an old custom of ours to bring back to our microphone people who, starting here, have gone on to success in the network. The Charioteers made their commercial debut on this stage about a year ago, and they've been pretty busy ever since. At the time they started, most Negro quartets were imitating the Mills Brothers. The Charioteers wisely developed a style of their own. By the way, what's the name of that song?
Oh, the name of this song is Ride Red, Ride, Ride Red. Ride, red, ride, 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 ride, red, ride. Take your tuba from your side and ride, oh, ride, red, ride, ride, red, ride, ride, red, ride, ride, red, ride. Oh, ride, slide, 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 ride, red, ride. Take your tuba from your side, red. Stick out your chest with pride. Now don't be ashamed when I call your name, 'cause Gabriel sent me with rhythm you in me well, it's paint the whole town red, red. Boy, you heard what I said. Now, goodness gracious, you thrill me bodacious, so ride, red, ride.
Take your trumpet from your side, red. Stick out your chest with pride, red. Don't be ashamed when I call your name, 'cause Gabriel is in me. With rhythm you win me well, it's paint the whole town red, red. You heard what I said. My goodness gracious, you thrill me bodacious, so wide, red, ride.
London Bridge is falling down. Why don't you help me go to town? All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, right.
Should have told you what your lips are for, what your arms are for, whom I adore, baby. Now it's hard to hold you. Never should have told you what your looks would mean on a movie screen. You would steal the scene, baby. Never should have told you. Since I put you wise, all you do is roll your eyes at everyone in the crowd. My, but you're acting proud. Now that you know I care, you've got your nose up in the air. Never should have told you that you're heavenly, like a dream to me. Now you're mean to me, baby. Never should have told you.
Say, Mary, did you notice that Jack's been acting kind of strange all week, sort of jittery-like?
Yeah. This afternoon he handed me a glass of milk, and it was malted before I could grab it.
Why, he goes around with a violin under his arm and keeps muttering to himself. What's wrong with him, anyway?
He's got a bad case of Fred Allen.
He has? Is it catching?
No.
Hello, kids. What's the trouble?
Oh, Phil, do you know where Jack is?
Sure, he's in the next room practicing his violin.
Oh.
He's been in there all day rehearsing that number called The Bee, and with the door closed, too.
Well, that helps.
Open the door, Mary, and call him out here, please.
Okay.
Hey, close that door.
Don't worry, we will. What are you doing, Jack?
What am I doing? What's this I got under my chin?
Another chin.
I mean, under both of them. I'm practicing the B.
Say, I thought you said you could play the B when you were a kid.
Well, I could, but a lot of honey has gone over the dam since then.
Oh, boy, that's a pip.
Did you get it, Kenny?
Not yet, but I will.
Well, keep right after it. It's a hot one. Darn that violin. And Fred Allen, too. Anyway, you fellas go ahead with the program. And, Kenny, get ready to do your song. I want to perfect my cadenzas.
Telegram for Jack Benny.
Take it, Mary. I'm busy.
Okay.
That was I've Got You Under My Skin from the motion picture Born to Dance, sung by...
Never mind, Don. I'll take it. I'm through practicing. That was Cheek to Cheek, sung by Kenny Baker. I didn't hear it, Kenny, but I imagine it was very good. How was it, fellas?
Oh, I did a great job, Jack.
Good. I knew it would be.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, of course, I suppose Fred Allen will go around saying you can't sing.
Well, can I?
Yes, can I? But he picks on... but he picks on everybody, especially when they have talent. Take my case, for instance.
Hold on a minute, Jack. I never heard Fred say anything detrimental about you or anyone else.
Neither have I.
Oh, I suppose you didn't hear him say that when I was 10 years old, I had my violin in a pawn shop. Well, didn't you? That's not the point. It was years later. And another thing, Allen isn't even his right name. You know that, Mary, don't you?
Is Benny yours?
And another thing. He should be the last one to talk. His product's only got one flavor. Wow! Zoe! Let him top that one. Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing, but it was loud.
Well, Jack, I noticed in today's paper where Allen is coming out here to Hollywood to make a picture.
Oh, he is? Well, that won't cause me or Gable to lose any sleep.
Me neither.
You keep out of it. Right away, he's a Gable. Well, all I can say is good luck to Mr. Allen and pictures. Of course, there's a limit to what a makeup man can do. Huh, Mary?
You ought to know.
Well, let's drop the subject. I don't care who's coming out here to make pictures. Nobody worries me, especially Allen.
Yeah, then what happened to your fingernails?
I was hungry. Now, let's go on with the program, Abe. I hope you're enjoying your stay here at the Hollywood.
Oh, I so am. And it's been a real thrill seeing all the movie stars in person.
I imagine so. Tell me, who are the favorite movie stars down your way?
Oh, Ann Southern and Dixie Lee.
Well, I can understand that.
Coast, we like Carolina Lombard, too.
Oh. You like Georgia Raft and Charleston Butterworth?
Uh-huh.
You know, I make pictures, too.
You do? Well, hush my mouth.
Suppose I'll have to change my name to Jacksonville Benny.
Yeah, and I could be Maryland Livingston.
Maryland.
And I could be Kenny Tucker.
Kenny, throw a log in the fire and don't let go.
You know, Mr. Benny, I thought you were just a radio actor. Really, I did.
Well, I dabble in it a bit. Do you like radio, Lucy Bell?
Yes, I just adore Fred Allen, don't you?
Well, yes, I do. Personally, I prefer the more subtle type of humor.
Oh, well, I think he's just grand.
Well, everyone to their own taste. Of course, he doesn't come from the South, you know. Lucy Bell, you know, before you leave town, we'll have to step out together some evening and take in a movie or something.
Oh, I just love that, Mr. Benny. You know, I saw an elegant picture this afternoon.
You did? What was it?
Bing Crosby and candies from Birmingham.
Yes. That is good.
Oh, Jack.
What?
I know another swell picture she can see.
What is it?
Lloyd's of Memphis.
Go sit down, will you?
Oh, boy.
What are you doing, Kenny?
I'm reading the funnies.
That's the family album.
He's still right.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Baker, hand me that album. I want to show you folks some pictures of Phil when he was a little boy.
Oh, Lucy Bell, don't do that.
Oh, that reminds me. You know what they used to call Phil when he was a baby?
What?
Filthy lamb.
Filthy lamb. Filthy lamb. Boy, that's rich.
You should laugh.
Yeah.
Remember what they called you when you were a kid?
Mary, quiet.
Stinky pie.
Hit it, fellas. Let's hear Phil. Come on,
The night is long, skies are clear, and if you want to go walking, dear, it's delightful, delicious, lovely.
Yeah.
I understand the reason why you're sentimental, 'cause so am I. It's delightful, delicious, lovely. You can tell at a glance what a swell night this is for romance. You can hear old Mother Nature murmuring low. Let yourself go, so please be sweet, my chickadee. And when I kiss you, just say to me, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's delectable, it's delirious, it's the limit, it's the limit, it's the loops, it's the lovely.
Really, that was good, Phil, really. Mary, how about you singing a chorus, huh?
I will if Andy will sing it with me.
Well, I can't. I got a cold.
Well, you shouldn't have got that haircut. Come on now, no more coaxing, huh?
Wait a minute, Jack. We don't know the words.
You don't?
Here's a copy for you, Mary. Sing this.
Oh, thanks, Don.
I'm afraid of this, but go ahead. Come on, both of you. Mary and Andy, hit it, fellas, will you? Oh, wait till you get a load of this.
When you're dining out and order beef stew, be sure and have some Jell-O, too.
It's delightful. It's delicious. It's lovely.
And if you're out real late at night and want something that's very light,
it's the swallow. It's the mellow. It's the lovely.
It is easy to make. You can watch it quiver and just see it taste. You can hear Mother in the kitchen murmuring low.
Let yourself be.
Andy B. And when I serve it, just say to me, it's the strawberry.
It's the raspberry.
It's the cherry.
It's the orange.
It's the lemon. It's the lime.
It's the nuts. It's the lovely.
Dear Mayor Cantor.
Yeah?
I spent a lot of money on my boy to give him a college education.
Uh-huh.
And now he'd rather romance with girls
Yeah.
than go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going frantic. I don't know what to do. Please help me.
And what does it sign? It's signed the voice of experience.
Oh, but Eddie, he's a fine man. You know, I think you ought to answer him. Shall I take a letter?
Yes.
All
Say,
right.
dear voice of experience. Oh, Graham, it's going to be good tonight. There's nothing you can do about your son. Just blame it on this modern age. Years ago, a college boy would break his neck to go out and work. Now he breaks his wife to go out and neck.
Say, Eddie.
Yeah?
Eddie, you're a mimic.
Yeah?
That's a swell imitation of Joe Penner.
Yep. Yeah. What's the matter? You can't tell Rudy Vallee when you hear him? Say, speaking of Penner, look. Here's a card from him announcing that the stork flew down from the sky and presented him with twins.
Twins? What do you call that?
Penner's from heaven, I guess. Yes.
You are paying 1,000 rubles reward? No?
Yeah?
Then let's talk caviar.
Caviar? You mean talk turkey?
You eat what you like, and I'll eat what I like.
But I want Oscar.
Mein dictator in Russia wants 5 years to find him.
Your dictator in Russia is Stalin.
He's got...
Oh, baby, what I wouldn't do with plenty of money and you, in spite of the worry that money brings, just a little filthy lucre buys a lot of things, and I could take you to places you'd like to go. But outside of that, I've no use for dough. It's the root of all evil, of strife and upheaval. But I'm certain, honey, that life could be sunny with plenty of money and you. Oh, baby, I'd like to buy you a wedding ring, a license to marry and everything, a cottage with roses around the door, room for 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe there'd be more. And there with you by my side, we'll know every joy. I'd be your Will Powell, you Myrna Loy. Through the life that's before us, we join in the chorus, 'cause I'm certain, honey, our days would be sunny with plenty of money and you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we bring you an announcement of importance from your own city.
We now present Mr. Basil O'Connor, chairman of the birthday ball for the president in Greater New York. Mr. O'Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we in New York are in this fight to stamp out infantile paralysis. Our birthday ball for the president on Saturday, January 30th, will be held at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. 70% of all the money we raise will be used right here at home to help those afflicted with this dread disease. 30% of the funds will be turned over to the president to be presented by him to the Warm Springs Foundation. I hope that all of those who hear me tonight will buy a ticket to a birthday ball. If for any reason you cannot attend the ball, buy a block of tickets and give them to your friends. Elaborate plans have been made for your entertainment on next Saturday evening, January 30th. As has been well said, you will be dancing so that some crippled child may someday walk. Let us in this community make this year's birthday ball the greatest of all and set a record to be proud of. Thank you, Mr. Cantor and Texaco, for your unsolicited and generous support.
But the reward money.
Well, the reward money, that...
Yeah.
Well, look, Jimmy.
What's that?
I just got a thought. If it's agreeable with our listening audience, I'll send a check for $1,000 tonight to the American Red Cross for the relief of flood sufferers. Shall we do that? I've got some good news, neighbor. Next Saturday there's gonna be a ball, and I hope you'll all be there at this marvelous affair. Imagine one big hall reaching all the way across the continent from Maine to Frisco Bay. You mustn't miss this great event in honor of our president. Come along and bring all your friends and neighbors to the birthday ball in honor of a man that we all love, and help along those who are helpless. Even though you cast your vote for Landon, you'll find a welcome for one and all. Republicans and high silk hats will dance with humble Democrats on Saturday night at the President's birthday ball. It's gonna be a grand affair. Even Hoover will be there on Saturday night at the President's birthday ball.
For the last 20 years, I had been hearing about you and wondering if and when we would ever meet. My gratitude is yours for your titanic motion pictures, for this remarkable radio program, and for your most excellent diction. When students ask me the correct pronunciation of English words, I tell them to listen to you on the Lux Radio Theater.
Dear me, now I'll probably start stuttering.
Well, then you take it easy, Mr. DeMille, and let me tell you what I think of Hollywood. Right here lies the future of grand opera. You cannot put opera, as I sang it, on the screen. But you can take the fundamentals of opera, surround them in new forms, and create a magnificent spectacle of sight and sound that will astound the musical world. I predict this will come, well, within 3 years.
If motion pictures borrow fundamentals from grand opera, Miss Garden, what can they give in return?
Oh, glamour, Mr. DeMille, glamour. The opera needs the loveliness of Hollywood's youth. It needs to say goodbye to its 200-pound prima donnas and give its audience physical beauty as well as artistic beauty. You know, fat never helped anyone to sing. When I made my debut in 1900, I weighed 98 pounds, and today I weigh 121. Therefore, I've gained 3 pounds in 30 years. Now, that's not bad, is it?
No, I'd call it perfect.
And I don't let my complexion grow old either. That Lux soap of yours is really wonderful. It keeps one's skin as vigorously fresh as a spring morning. But we were talking about opera, weren't we? Sooner or later, the Metropolitan Opera Company in New York will more than likely unite with Chicago, New Orleans, and Hollywood and make a great musical bridge over the United States. Motion pictures will help opera, and opera in turn is bound to help music on the screen. The future of grand opera rests with America because I think Americans, more than any other people, possess the 3 rules of greatness: imagination, glamour, and brains. And that's what I'm looking for. And now, Mr. DeMille, good night and good luck to you always.
Good night, Miss Garden. Good night.
This is Maryland's pioneer broadcast station, WFBR in Baltimore. We are rebroadcasting the signal of WSM in Nashville, Tennessee. During the first 45 minutes of every hour, you will hear flood bulletins coming from the heart of the flood area in Louisville, Kentucky. During the last 15 minutes of every hour, you will hear personal messages given from the studios of WSM in Nashville. Now, we have received communication from the USA Signal Corps station W3SN here in Baltimore that they are in a position to take any personal messages that our listeners might want to give them regarding their families or friends who might be in the flood area. Now, if you want to try to locate any friends of yours or relatives who might be in the flood area around Louisville or Nashville, we suggest that you call the following phone number and ask for radio. That phone number is Plaza 8320. I repeat, if you want to contact any of your friends as to their whereabouts and their conditions, you have to call the USA Signal Corps station W3SN here in Baltimore, and they will try to get your message through to WSM in Nashville to be broadcast. That telephone number, once again, is Plaza 8320. Ask for radio. We return you now to WSM Signal in Nashville, Tennessee.
Evening, Mr. Vallee. What you boys got up your sleeve for the folks tonight?
Didn't you hear Graham McNamee's opening announcement, Mr. Typical?
Well, yes and no. You see, I was reading the paper right then, all about the floods. Graham spoke his piece before I really got down to listening, sort of. I did catch one name. Brian Ahern, was it?
That's correct.
Now, there's an actor, Mr. B. Only 2 nights ago, my wife and I, we saw Beloved Enemy at the Strand downtown. And Mr. Ahern made quite a hit with the Frau. Yes, sir. Jim Typical, she says to me, I wish you was more like that Ahern boy. Well, I says, you ain't exactly Merle Oberon yourself, old girl.
You are doubtless cognizant of a unique situation, developing in our fair land a floating population. This may sound all too obvious, but for your information, 'twould be more accurate to say a rolling population. Our pioneers pushed back frontiers in covered wagons west-o, while others sailed the 7 seas and then came home to rest-o. No wonder with our heritage from frontiersmen and sailors, folks own a home and roll their own and roam the land in trailers. Old towns of trailers, row on row, north, south, or east, or westward, ho, it goes to show the saying so, and folks who live in trailers know when you oughta go, you oughta go. With the wife and the kiddies and the doggy and the cat, away they go in the rolling flat, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, the rent and the taxes they all save, trailing, trailing, oh, for a gypsy's life. No matter what you say, it's a darn good way to keep away from a wife and satisfy your yearning while the roads you're burning as you swing along in your old tin truckee home.
It's a home with a chromium ring.
Chromium ring.
Or hitch up your home and from Buffalo Road back home again
to Indiana for a change. When your house is your castle and your castle's on free air, and you never know when you're gonna be where. It's your townhouse, your country home, your Pullman or your plane, your winter home in Florida, your summer shack in Maine. Trailing, trailing, home, home, fleet home. But what could more enhance it than a chance romance in transit on the roads of USA? Future citizens will say, my first light was seen somewhere between Manhattan and L.A. There used to be a formula for thrilling Western plays, and now we find we're longing for those good old-fashioned days. A lady was a lady, and she acted like it then. They always called a leg a limb when men began were men. Like reading, writing, arithmetic were taught in all the schools. The movies also had 3 R's and followed all the rules. The first R was a raid, the second was the ride, the third was the rescue where the hero claimed his bride. A raid, a ride, and a rescue. The 3 R's of movie melodrama. We prepared a little show to show you how these thrillers go, with a raid, a ride, and a rescue.
The scene is a home on the range, where a gal waits to welcome her man. Woo, Elmer!
Can this be him coming?
My gosh, he looks strange.
Now she gets a good look at his pan.
Caramba, it's terrible Tex on a spree.
He's greasy and growling and grim.
Healers, how's about, kid? You come with me?
Whoa, let go my limbs.
They tug and tussle till he wears her out, but still she's got the nerve and strength to shout, you dirty villain, killing's too good for you. As soon as Elmer comes to throw you out, you sneaking, reeking, greasy, frowsy lout. Scram it, ram it. Good heavens, there's no way the gal can escape. He carries her off in the night. That's episode 1, she was lost in the raid. Well, nearly, almost, but not quite. With a clatter of hoofs and a ki-yippee-up, Elmer is off to the mountain top where the villain is wrestling the innocent gal when a voice from the door yells, stop, now reach for the sky, I'll blow you to Mars, and I'll plug plenty holes in your pole, can't hide. That's episode 2 of the old 3 R's, and now you've seen the ride, a raid, a ride, and a rescue. The 3 R's of movie melodrama. Better grab your seats and hold them tight, 'cause now they're ready to start the fight, so let's get on with the rescue. Look out there behind us, the outlaw gang, with a volley of lead and a crash and a bang and a flash and a shot and out with a light. The works are popping here tonight with battering fists and a fighting heart. Our hero's off to a flying start. There's 21 rustlers on the floor, but he pants and he heaves and he looks for more. And then come the U.S. Marines. He's safe with the girl of his dreams. And so they were saved through the night. Well, nearly, almost, but not quite. A raid, a ride, and a rescue. The 3 R's of movie melodrama. They were good enough for Father, and they're good enough for me. Hot diggity. A raid, a ride, and a rescue. Next week, Tom
Trombonium, a trombone oddity featuring Charlie Butterfield, our first trombonist. Charlie plays it just as he used to play it in our little Pine Tree Orchestra back in Peaks Island, Maine in 1920, except that Charlie has brought it up to date with his conception of 2 radical trombone styles. Charlie Butterfield, Trombonium. Now suppose we talk about Technicolor. What, in your opinion, is the future of color in pictures?
Color definitely has a future, Mr. Vallee, and a great one. But I don't think its possibilities will be completely realized for 5 years or so. My experience with Becky Sharp and the musical short Cucaracha is, for me, only a beginning.
What is the direction that color movie progress will take, do you think?
I hope, Mr. Vallee, that producers will eventually recognize that color has a value aside from the purely decorative. Color is not only pleasing to the eye, it affects us emotionally.
I think I see what you mean. When people get mad, they see red.
Exactly. When you are sad, you feel blue. You fall into a brown study. You become purple with rage, green with envy. You accuse a coward of being yellow. There are tearful colors, low, sad colors, reds like battle cries, calm, faraway blues, rosy tints of romance, dark purples of death. When we learn how to apply color emotionally on the screen, Technicolor will come of age.
Maybe color is what actors like me need, Mr. Jones.
Possibly. I can see you now singing Chapel in the Moonlight, bathed in a magnificent, deep purple.
And is my face red? However, as long as you steer clear of lavender and pink, Mr. Jones, it'll be all right with me. Thank you ever so much for an interesting 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Vallee. I'm mauve with gratitude. Good night.
Boy, this is some birthday so far.
Telegram, Freddie Cantor.
Oh, here you are, young fella. At least a telegram comes in.
Well, read it. What's it say, Eddie?
It says, congratulations on your birthday. We hope you stay on CBS for the rest of your life. CBS wants you. CBS needs you. CBS can have you. Signed, NBC. The other day at the Fox studio, I met Irving Berlin. I told him that today was my birthday, and he said, Eddie, I'd like to come over and pay my respects. And so with great pride, I present my good friend, the greatest writer of popular songs in the world, Irving Berlin.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And
And thank you, Eddie. I've known you for a good many years, Eddie. And it's a great honor and a privilege to be able to stand up here and tell your radio audience.
Now, Irving, don't lay it on too thick, you know.
Don't be modest, Eddie. Of course, if you'd rather have me keep quiet.
No. Go right ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that it's a great privilege to tell your radio audience tonight that, in my opinion, the greatest, the most enjoyable...
Now, Irving, now.
Most completely satisfying bit of entertainment ever offered the public is the picture On the Avenue, produced by 20th Century Fox, opening February 4th at the Radio City Music Hall.
But, Irving, look, just a minute. Don't you know what day this is?
Yes, I do, Eddie. This is the 31st of January, just 4 days before On the Avenue opens at the Radio City Music Hall. Lyrics and music by
Irving. Well, sure, but Irving, look at my puss. This is my birthday.
Well, I'm sorry, Eddie, I forgot. Congratulations. How old are you?
It's a lie. Look, what's the difference, Irving? A man is as old as it feels. Oh, look,
That's right.
Let's go back to talking about your picture. You know, I did see it at the studio Friday night.
That's fine.
And I think it's swell. Tell me, which one of the 6 songs is your favorite?
Well, that's hard to say, Eddie. It would be just the same as asking you which of your 5 daughters was your favorite.
Well, I have a favorite, the one that spends the least amount of money.
Now I think we've heard enough about the picture, Eddie. Let's talk more about your birthday.
All right.
You see, I didn't know you were celebrating your birthday today, and I brought you a little surprise gift.
At last, a birthday present. But, Irving, you shouldn't have done it. You know, you embarrassed me.
But, Eddie, I insist.
Well, if you insist.
Okay. As a little birthday present, I'll sing a chorus of You're Laughing at Me, which is one of the songs from On the Avenue.
A 20th Century Fox production opening at the radio...
You're laughing at me. I can't be sentimental for you're laughing at me, I know. I want to be romantic, but I haven't a chance. You've got a sense of humor, and humor is death to romance. You're laughing at me. Why do you think it's funny when I say that I love you so? You've got me worried and I'm all at sea. For while I'm crying for you, you're laughing at...
You know, I love you. If I were you, I'd just write the songs and let us sing them. You know, I think...
You know, you shouldn't kid me, Eddie. Remember, you and I were both singing waiters once.
That's right. You were a singing waiter in Chinatown, and I was one in Coney Island. I'll never forget, Irving, when I sang Alexander's Ragtime Band for the first time, and you came down to hear me. Golly, I was a kid.
You can think that far back?
Yes. And I'll never forget when you slipped me $50 as a tip. And I gave it to a little baby girl who was in a baby carriage outside the cafe.
That's right. I saw you do it, Eddie. I remember very well. And who'd have thought that that little baby would grow up to be Sophie Tucker? Oh.
I knew it was such a good line, I'd have used it myself. Irving, I'm going to turn the other cheek and sing one of the songs from your picture, providing you play the piano for me. Go ahead. Put on your slumming clothes and get your car. Let's go sightseeing where the high-tone people are. Come on, there's lots of fun in store for you. See how the other half lives on Park Avenue. Let's go slumming. Take me slumming. Let's go slumming on Park Avenue. Let us hide behind a pair of fancy glasses and make faces when a member of the classes passes. Let's go smelling where they're dwelling, sniffing everything the way they do. Let us go to it, they do it, why can't we do it too? Let's go slumming, no slumming at Park Avenue. Let's go slumming, take me slumming. Let's go slumming on Park Avenue. Irving, Honestly, you know, I'm thrilled with your being here tonight. It gives me a warm feeling to know that two skinny guys who started out from the east side of New York many years ago are playing together tonight before millions of people. Irving, this is truly a land of opportunity. Think. You have written songs which have been played and sung the world over, and
Eddie, the joy you have brought people is no small contribution in itself.
Oh, let's talk a little bit about the things to come. Irving, I can see the not-too-distant future, just as plain. I can see a blaze of glory, a light just as bright as the brightest stars, and they seem to say...
On the avenue now playing Radio City Music Hall.
Take them off, Renard. Take them off, will you please? Take them off. Thank you, Deanna. Your birthday present enough for anybody. But I can't help thinking here, ladies and gentlemen, what a lovely birthday present the president got yesterday. They sent him Gene Harlow. Oh, I'm telling you. That's another reason why the Republicans are going to be sore. Why they couldn't send Gene Harlow during their administration. But it would be a very smart thing, and I'm sure Roosevelt is smart enough to keep Gene Harlow from now on in Washington. Imagine if he's up against a stubborn Senate or a Congress. He wants to get a bill passed. He sends over Gene Harlow, and she says, boys, pass this bill for Jeannie, will you? They'll not only pass the bill, they'll probably pay the bills for her. And, you know, she can be used by Miss Perkins, you know, the Secretary of Labor. In all these sit-down strikes, just send Gene Harlow. You know, nobody's going to sit down when she comes in there, you know. And, you know, one thing that I do know that might be very smart. The president's always having a little trouble with the Supreme Court justices on the Constitution. Now he can frame them very good. He runs a dance. There's only one girl there, Gene Harlow. They all come in. Everybody's dancing with Gene Harlow. Can you imagine Chief Justice Hughes dancing with Gene Harlow? Giving out that business, you know? You know, he'll forget about the whole Constitution, you know that? It'll be the greatest movement ever brought before the court. You know? And, oh, wait a minute. James Farley is threatening to quit. He doesn't want to be the postmaster anymore. There is a job for Gene Harlow. She knows more about post office than anybody that's ever been in Washington. My friends, enough kidding about this. Today is my birthday, and so I want to thank you for having given me that which money can buy. Your loyalty, your warm-hearted support. For that, I am so grateful. And at this time, I offer you a message. A message in song. We're only here so long, no more. You simply can go wrong. You'll find if you bear this in mind. Get out in the sun, get under the moon, enjoy every hour of the day. 'Cause you can't take it with you, you can't take it with you. So have your fun while you may. A bird in a tree is happy and free. If he learned to talk, he would say, oh, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. So have your fun while you may. Life is a song and not a bowl of cherries if you've got the proper point of view. Life is a song. It really is a berry when you're in love and someone loves you. You work and you slave, you skimp and you save, so you make $1 million a day. Oh, you can take it with you, you can take it with you. So live and love and be gay and have your fun while you may. You know, I'm no philosopher, but I just like to say that we should do something for someone each day. Because you can take it with you. No, sir. You can take it with you. So while passing through life, help those on the way. Forget this thing known as greed. And when you do a good deed, your heart will be happy and gay. Because you can take it with you. You cannot take it with you. So give of yourself
while you may. Why, life is a song, and we should keep on singing just as long as we can. Yes, indeed. Life is a song, if only we keep bringing happiness to those who are in need. Why, the money we own is merely a loan. Ask any wise man and he'll say, oh, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. So give while you live and be gay, and have your fun while you may.
Thanks for listening to 1937 Part 3, the Soundscapes audio montage series number 12 from When Radio Ruled. I'm Mike Gillett, your host. When Radio Ruled and the Soundscape series are before TV productions. Copyright 2022.